Chapter 4, The Crystal Caves. After leaving the Whispering Forest, Tobian and Nivara found themselves drawn to a range of towering mountains. These peaks were shrouded in mist, their craggy cliffs glistening with veins of minerals and precious stones. The heart of the earth glowed brightly, urging them forward, deeper into the mountains where hidden treasures and new challenges awaited. As they began their ascent, Nivara felt the familiar itch for transformation. She turned to Tobian with a playful smile. "I think it's time for another change. This place calls for something luminous." With that, she closed her eyes, and her form began to shift. Her hair transformed into a cascading waterfall of shimmering silver, reflecting the light like crystal. Her skin took on a soft, pearlescent glow, and her eyes became a brilliant, icy blue. Her attire morphed into a gown of glistening crystal shards that sparkled with every movement, making her appear as if she were a living gem, born from the very mountains they climbed. Tobian watched in awe as Nivara's new form took shape. "You look like the spirit of these mountains, Nivara. Absolutely radiant." Nivara smiled, her voice now carrying a melodic, crystalline quality. "Thank you, Tobian. I feel connected to these mountains, like their strength and beauty are now a part of me." With renewed energy, they continued their journey, climbing higher and higher until they reached the entrance of a large cave. The entrance was surrounded by towering crystal formations that hummed with a faint, magical energy. The air inside the cave was cool, and the walls sparkled with countless gemstones embedded in the rock. "The crystal caves," Tobian murmured, his eyes wide with wonder. "I've heard legends about this place. It's said that the crystals here hold the power to amplify magic, to reveal hidden truths." Nivara's eyes gleamed as she gazed at the crystals. "And where there are crystals, there are bound to be treasures. Let's explore and see what we can find." As they ventured deeper into the cave, the crystals grew larger and more intricate, their colors shifting from deep blues to vibrant purples and brilliant whites. The light from Tobian's staff refracted off the crystals, casting dazzling patterns on the walls and floor. The heart of the earth pulsed gently, guiding them to a chamber deep within the cave. This chamber was unlike anything they had seen before. Massive crystal spires rose from the ground, and in the center of the chamber stood a pedestal made entirely of crystal, glowing with a soft, inner light. Resting on the pedestal was a large, flawless gemstone, its surface swirling with colors that seemed to change with every glance. Nivara's breath caught in her throat. "That's no ordinary gemstone, Tobian. It's the prism of truth. Legends say it has the power to reveal the innermost truths of the heart, to show things as they truly are." Tobian approached the pedestal, his hand hovering over the prism. "This must be why the heart of the earth led us here. But something tells me there's more to this place than just the prism." As if in response to his words, the cave began to hum with a low, resonant sound. The crystal spires vibrated, and the air around them shimmered. A voice, clear and ringing like a bell, echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, seekers of truth. I am Crystera, the guardian of these caves, the keeper of the prism of truth. You have been brought here to uncover the truth that lies within your own hearts." Nivara stepped forward, her crystalline form glowing softly. "We are honored to be here, Crystera. But what truth are we meant to uncover?" Crystera's voice was gentle but firm. "The prism reveals what is hidden, but it is not always easy to accept what it shows. To claim the prism, you must first face a trial, one that will test your bond, your resolve, and your understanding of yourselves and each other." Tobian and Nivara exchanged glances, their determination clear. "We're ready," Tobian said, his voice steady. "What must we do?" The crystal spires around them began to glow brighter, and the chamber was filled with a blinding light. When the light faded, Tobian and Nivara found themselves standing in a vast, crystalline landscape, surrounded by mirrored surfaces that reflected their images back at them from every angle. "This is the mirror realm," Kristera's voice echoed around them. "Here, you must confront the reflections of your own fears and doubts. Only by embracing the truth within yourselves can you unlock the power of the prism." As the words faded, the reflections in the mirrors began to move on their own, stepping out of the mirrored surfaces to stand before Tobian and Nivara. These reflections were darker, shadowy versions of themselves, their expressions twisted with doubt and fear. Tobian's reflection stepped forward, its voice cold and mocking. "You think your art can solve everything, Tobian. You hide behind your paintbrush, afraid to face the real challenges. What will you do when your magic isn't enough?" Tobian clenched his fists, feeling a surge of anger and doubt. But he took a deep breath, calming himself. "My art is my strength," he said firmly. "It's how I express my magic, my creativity, and my love for the world. I won't let fear control me." The shadowy reflection hesitated, then began to dissolve, leaving behind a faint, shimmering light that merged with Tobian's own aura. Nivara's reflection stepped forward next, her voice filled with uncertainty. "You change your appearance so often, Nivara. Are you afraid of showing your true self? Do you even know who you really are?" Nivara's crystalline eyes narrowed, but she didn't flinch. "I am a shapeshifter," she said calmly. "Change is a part of who I am, but that doesn't mean I don't know myself. My true self is more than just one form, it's the sum of all my experiences, all my forms, and the love I share with Tobian. I embrace all of it." The shadowy reflection faltered, then dissolved just as Tobian's had, leaving behind a soft light that merged with Nivara's glow. As the last of the shadows faded, the mirrors around them shattered, revealing the original crystal chamber once more. The prism of truth now glowed even brighter, its colors swirling with a renewed intensity. Kristera's voice returned, warm and approving. "You have faced your inner truths and emerged stronger. The prism of truth is yours to claim. It will reveal hidden paths, uncover secrets, and guide you on your journey." Nivara reached out and took the prism, feeling its power resonate with her own. "Thank you, Kristera. This is a gift beyond measure." Tobian smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "With this, our adventures will only grow more wondrous." The crystal chamber began to fade as Kristera's final words echoed in their minds. "Remember, the truth is your greatest ally. Let it guide you, and you will find your way, no matter how dark the path." With the prism of truth in hand, Tobian and Nivara left the crystal caves, their bond stronger than ever and their hearts filled with the light of newfound clarity. As they descended the mountain, they looked out at the vast world before them, knowing that even greater adventures awaited them, adventures that would test their courage, their love, and their understanding of the truths that lay within. Chapter 5: The Enchanted Isles. After their journey through the crystal caves, Tobian and Nivara continued their travels, following the guidance of the heart of the earth and the prism of truth. This time, their path led them to the edge of a vast ocean, where a chain of islands lay shrouded in mist. The islands were known as the Enchanted Isles, a place of mysterious magic, hidden treasures, and ancient legends. As they stood on the shore, gazing out at the distant islands, Nivara felt the familiar pull for transformation. She turned to Tobian with a mischievous smile. "I think it's time for another change, These isles feel like they need something aquatic. With a deep breath, Nivara let the magic flow through her. Her shimmering, crystal-like form began to shift once more. Her hair turned into flowing waves of ocean blue, cascading down her back like the sea itself. Her skin took on a soft, iridescent sheen, reminiscent of pearls and sea foam, and her eyes transformed into deep, tranquil pools of azure. Her attire morphed into a dress of woven seaweed and delicate seashells, adorned with tiny, glowing pearls that shimmered with every movement, making her appear as if she were a living embodiment of the ocean's beauty. Tobian watched, captivated by her transformation. "You're like a sea goddess, Nivara. Perfect for these mystical islands." Nivara smiled, her voice carrying the soothing, melodic quality of the ocean waves. "Thank you, Tobian. I feel connected to the water, like it's calling to me. I think these islands have a lot more to them than meets the eye." With Nivara's new form ready, they set off in a small boat, cutting through the mist toward the nearest island. As they approached, the mist began to clear, revealing a lush, vibrant landscape. The island was covered in dense, tropical vegetation, with towering palm trees and vibrant flowers in every shade of the rainbow. The air was warm, and the scent of salt water mingled with the sweet aroma of blooming plants. The moment they set foot on the island, Tobian felt a tingling sensation in the air. "There's powerful magic here," he said, looking around with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "But it's different from what we've encountered before. It feels ancient, but playful." Nivara nodded, her senses attuned to the magical currents. "This place is alive with enchantments. We should be careful, but I also think it wants us to explore. Let's see what secrets these islands hold." They began to explore the island, making their way through the thick jungle. The deeper they went, the more they noticed the unusual creatures that called the island home. Colorful birds with feathers that sparkled like gemstones flitted between the trees, while small, furry creatures with glowing eyes peered at them curiously from the underbrush. As they walked, Tobian couldn't resist sketching the enchanting creatures in his notebook. "These animals are like nothing I've ever seen before. They're magical in their own way." Nivara agreed, but her attention was drawn to something else, a faint, melodic sound, like the distant song of a flute, carried on the breeze. "Do you hear that, Tobian? It sounds like music." Tobian paused, listening intently. "I do. It's coming from further inland. Let's follow it." Guided by the mysterious music, they pushed through the jungle until they came to a clearing. In the center of the clearing was a large, crystalline pool of water, its surface shimmering with an ethereal light. Sitting on the edge of the pool was a figure playing a flute, a being with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish, a mermaid. The mermaid's scales glimmered in the sunlight, and her long, flowing hair was adorned with pearls and seaweed. When she noticed Tobian and Nivara, she stopped playing and smiled warmly. "Welcome, travelers, to the Enchanted Isles. I am Cyrena, the guardian of these waters." Nivara stepped forward, her oceanic appearance catching Cyrena's attention. "We're honored to meet you, Cyrena. I'm Nivara, and this is Tobian. We've been guided here by the heart of the earth and the prism of truth." Cyrena's eyes sparkled with recognition. "Ah, the prism of truth. That explains the light I sensed on your arrival. It's been many years since anyone with such a powerful artifact has visited these isles. Tell me, what brings you to this magical place?" Tobian spoke up, his voice filled with curiosity. "We seek knowledge and adventure. We've heard the Enchanted Isles are filled with mysteries and ancient magic. We'd love to learn more about this place and its history. Cyrena nodded thoughtfully. The Enchanted Isles are indeed a place of wonder, but they are also a place of trials. The magic here is wild, shaped by the spirits of the islands themselves. Those who seek to uncover the secrets of the Isles must prove themselves worthy. Nivara tilted her head, intrigued. What kind of trials? Cyrena gestured to the crystalline pool. The first trial is the trial of reflection. This pool is no ordinary body of water, it reveals the true nature of those who gaze into it. To proceed further, you must each look into the pool and confront what you see. Only those who can accept their reflection are permitted to continue. Tobian and Nivara exchanged glances, their determination clear. They had faced their inner truths before, but this trial felt different, more personal. Nivara approached the pool first, kneeling by its edge and gazing into the shimmering water. At first, she saw her own reflection, her oceanic form glowing softly in the sunlight. But as she continued to look, the reflection began to change. She saw herself in different forms, each one representing a different aspect of her personality and emotions. Her true self, her fears, her desires, her hopes, all laid bare before her. For a moment, Nivara felt a pang of uncertainty. Could she truly accept every part of herself, even the parts she didn't always like? But as she continued to gaze, she realized that each form was a part of her, and she loved them all. She embraced the reflection, and the water in the pool began to glow, a sign that she had passed the trial. Tobian stepped forward next, feeling a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. He looked into the pool, and like Nivara, he saw his reflection shift and change. He saw himself as an artist, a wizard, a companion, and a protector. But he also saw his fears, fear of failure, fear of losing those he cared about, fear of not being enough. The weight of these fears was heavy, but Tobian knew they were a part of him, and without them, he wouldn't be who he was. With a deep breath, Tobian accepted his reflection, embracing both his strengths and weaknesses. The pool glowed once more, and Cyrena smiled approvingly. "You have both passed the trial of reflection," Cyrena said, her voice filled with warmth. "You are worthy to continue your journey through the Enchanted Isles. But be warned, each island has its own trials, and the further you go, the more challenging they will become. But if you can overcome them, you will uncover the greatest secrets of these isles, and perhaps even find treasures beyond your wildest dreams." Nivara and Tobian nodded, ready for whatever lay ahead. With Cyrena's blessing, they set off to explore the rest of the Enchanted Isles, eager to discover the mysteries hidden within. As they ventured deeper into the islands, they couldn't help but feel that this adventure would be one of their most memorable yet. The magic of the Enchanted Isles was strong, but so were they, and together, there was nothing they couldn't face. Chapter 6, The Isle of Shadows. After passing the trial of reflection, Tobian and Nivara continued their journey across the Enchanted Isles, their spirits high and their hearts filled with anticipation. Each island held its own unique wonders, but as they ventured further, the magic became more complex, and the challenges grew more formidable. Their next destination was an island that lay shrouded in darkness, its silhouette barely visible against the stormy sky. This was the Isle of Shadows, a place said to be inhabited by ancient spirits who controlled the balance between light and darkness. As they approached the island, the air grew cooler, and the sun dipped behind thick clouds, casting the landscape in an eerie twilight. Nivara felt the familiar urge to change her appearance, sensing the energy of the island calling to her. With a determined smile, she closed her eyes and allowed the transformation to begin. Her oceanic features faded, replaced by a form that mirrored the island's mysterious aura. Her hair turned a deep midnight black, flowing like liquid darkness around her shoulders. Her skin became pale, almost translucent, with a faint silver sheen that caught the light in an otherworldly way. Her eyes glowed with a soft, ethereal light, and her attire shifted into a flowing gown of shadowy silk, adorned with tiny stars that twinkled like distant constellations. When she opened her eyes, Tobian was once again captivated by her transformation. "You look like the Queen of the Night, Nivara. Perfect for this shadowy isle." Nivara smiled, her voice now a soft, soothing whisper that echoed like the wind through the trees. "Thank you, Tobian. I feel attuned to the shadows here. Let's see what this island has in store for us." They set foot on the Isle of Shadows, and immediately felt the weight of the island's ancient magic. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, and the ground was covered in a thick layer of mist that swirled around their feet. Despite the island's ominous appearance, there was a strange beauty to it, as if the shadows themselves were alive and watching them. As they ventured deeper into the island, Tobian felt the magic around them shift. "There's something different about this place," he said, his voice tinged with curiosity. "The shadows here aren't just ordinary darkness. They're alive, infused with magic." Nivara nodded, her senses alert. "I can feel it too. The shadows seem to be guiding us somewhere, like they want us to find something." They followed the winding path through the forest, guided by the shifting shadows that seemed to dance around them. Eventually, they reached a clearing where the trees parted, revealing a massive stone altar at the center. The altar was adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of light and darkness locked in an eternal dance. Standing before the altar was a figure cloaked in shadows, its features obscured by the darkness. The figure's voice was a low, resonant whisper that sent shivers down their spines. "Welcome, travelers, to the Isle of Shadows. I am Umbra, the guardian of this place. You have been brought here to face the trial of balance." Tobian stepped forward, his staff glowing faintly in the dim light. "What is the trial of balance, Umbra?" Umbra's shadowy form shifted slightly as it spoke. "The trial of balance is a test of your ability to harmonize light and darkness within yourselves. The Isle of Shadows exists to maintain the balance between these forces, and only those who can master this balance may proceed." Nivara's glowing eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "And how do we prove our mastery of balance?" Umbra gestured to the altar. "You must each place a hand upon the altar and allow the shadows to test your resolve. They will reveal the darkness within you, the parts of yourself that you may fear or deny. To succeed, you must accept these shadows and find the light within them. Only then will you achieve true balance." Nivara and Tobian exchanged determined glances. They had faced their fears and inner truths before, but this trial was different. It required them to confront the darkness within themselves and find a way to harmonize it with their light. Nivara approached the altar first, her shadowy form blending seamlessly with the darkness around her. She placed her hand on the cold stone surface, and immediately felt the shadows begin to swirl around her, enveloping her in a cocoon of darkness. Images flashed before her eyes, memories of past mistakes, fears of losing control of her shape-shifting abilities, and doubts about her ever-changing nature. For a moment, the darkness felt overwhelming, as if it would consume her completely. But then she remembered the words of the prism of truth and the lessons she had learned. She had accepted her many forms, her fears, and her desires. Now, she needed to find the light within this darkness. Focusing on her inner strength, Nivara allowed the darkness to wash over her, accepting it as a part of who she was. As she did, a soft, glowing light began to emanate from within her, pushing back the shadows and illuminating the clearing. The darkness didn't disappear, but it no longer felt threatening. Instead, it became a comforting presence, balanced by the light she had found. Umbra's voice echoed in the clearing, filled with approval. You have passed the trial of balance, Nivara. You have found harmony within yourself. Tobian stepped forward next, his heart steady despite the uncertainty he felt. He placed his hand on the altar, and the shadows immediately closed in around him. He saw visions of his past, moments of doubt in his abilities, fears of failing to protect those he loved, and the constant pressure he felt to live up to the expectations of being a wizard and an artist. The weight of these fears bore down on him, but Tobian knew he couldn't allow them to control him. He had faced his fears before, and he had the strength to face them again. He focused on the love he had for Nivara, the joy he found in his art, and the passion he felt for discovering the world's mysteries. Slowly, a warm light began to glow from within him, pushing back the shadows until they were in perfect balance. Umbra's form shifted once more, this time with a note of respect. You too have passed the trial of balance, Tobian. The light and darkness within you are now in harmony. As the shadows receded, the stone altar began to glow with a soft, silvery light. From the center of the altar, a small, intricately carved amulet emerged, suspended in the air by a thin thread of shadow and light. The amulet was shaped like a yin-yang symbol, with one half made of polished obsidian and the other of radiant moonstone. This amulet is the key of balance, Umbra explained. It will guide you through the rest of your journey on the Enchanted Isles, helping you to navigate the trials ahead. But remember, balance is not something you achieve once and for all. It is a constant dance between light and darkness, a harmony you must maintain within yourselves. Nivara took the amulet, feeling its power resonate with her own. Thank you, Umbra. We will carry this lesson with us. Tobian nodded in agreement, his heart lighter now that he had confronted his inner darkness. We're ready to continue our journey. Umbra's form began to fade, merging with the shadows of the island. May the balance guide you, travelers. The Enchanted Isles hold many secrets, and you are one step closer to uncovering them. With the key of balance in hand, Tobian and Nivara left the Isle of Shadows, their bond stronger and their hearts in harmony. As they ventured back into the misty sea, they knew that the trials ahead would be difficult, but they were prepared to face them together. The Enchanted Isles still held many mysteries, and with each new adventure, Tobian and Nivara grew closer to unlocking the ancient magic that lay hidden within. Their journey was far from over, and with the balance they had found, they were ready for whatever the islands had in store.